what is the purpose of this movie? How is he trying to make people feel? And in my opinion, it just is another factor that's going to add on to fueling this race war. As I'm watching this movie, I'm like, oh, this is the perfect setup for Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo with a K, right? The one that was involved, the one that stabbed Austin Metcalf in the heart at the track meet. And I was like, this is the perfect prep to stage this race war that it seems like a lot of different people from different sides have been trying to brew for a very long time. Ew, ew, Big Fish-ish. Y'all know what it is. Yeah, we still repping Big Fish. We're going to get right to it. Today, we're about to talk about Tyler Perry and his movie Straw. So if you are a Netflix subscriber, or maybe you just heard about it on social media, I don't know, but Tyler Perry had this movie, or he released this movie Straw, which was #1 at the time when I watched it or when I heard about it. Then when I finally watched it, I believe it was #2. #2 movie on all of Netflix. At least I guess they break it down by country, neither here nor there. Or actually, maybe that is relevant. But it was the #1 movie for a bit, and then it was #2. I don't know what it currently is or what it will be when this movie comes out, but I think it's a very important movie for us to talk about, for us to review. Now, I know I've said before that I'm getting away from criticizing people that I believe that are in a far greater position to have a much bigger influence to bring about some type of impact in a positive way more than me. And I said that instead of criticizing them and telling them what I would do if I was in their position, I'm just going to get to that position. Then I'll just show them. However, that does not mean that you are going to get away from this critique. All right. We are going to criticize. We're going to evaluate. We're going to take a look, a deep dive at a lot of these different things that are impacting our community in ways that we may not be conscious of, or conscious enough of, I should say. So this movie Straw, and I have to be honest, I went into it with, I guess, a certain amount of bias, but I guess this could work either way. And what I mean by I went into it with bias is I saw Jason Whitlock, shout out to Jason Whitlock, talking about the movie. I saw Shamika talking about the movie. But in a lot of cases, you hear people talking about the movie like sinners. I remember seeing a lot of people talking about the movie, and then there were some people saying like it didn't live up to it because everybody was just amping it up. So you never know how that bias is going to impact you. Neither here nor there. Straw. Tyler Perry. We got to do better, man. We got to do better. It's the same old, same old. Like this man plays on Black grief and tries to trigger Black emotions, in my opinion, with the things that are most detrimental to the Black community. Because there's nothing wrong with a movie being emotional or triggering emotions, right? A lot of people make dramatic movies. That's what movies are supposed to do in those lanes. However, when it comes to Tyler Perry, it just makes me look at his entire career and the majority of movies that he's put out. Like, here was the guy that got famous off of doing plays, acting like a woman, portraying certain stereotypical roles of a big mama, and especially in the comedian space, movie space, we've heard a lot of criticism of Black comedians, even though there's been other comedians that have done it, like a Robin Williams, but there's been a lot of criticism with Black comedians such as Martin or Kevin Hart, and others who decide to put a dress on. It just seems to be like the type of thing that they have a lot of Black comedians do. Neither here nor there. I'm just kind of telling y'all where my mind goes when I started to watch movies like Straw, and then I'm starting to go back and realize how influential and what type of influence movies like Tyler Perry have had on, in particular, Black culture. So I'm looking at this movie Straw. I'm thinking about Tyler Perry movies, and shout out to my guy who plays the Chief. He's actually in The Family That Prays. That is a movie that I really like from Tyler Perry. And I like a lot of his movies. I don't want to make it seem like I don't like his movies, but it just comes down to what type of movie, like what is the purpose of this movie? How is he trying to make people feel? And in my opinion, it just is another factor that's going to add on to fueling this race war. As I'm watching this movie, I'm like, oh, this is the perfect setup for Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo with a K, right? The one that was involved, the one that stabbed Austin Metcalf in the heart at the track meet. And I was like, this is the perfect prep to stage this race war that it seems like a lot of different people from different sides have been trying to brew for a very long time. For a very long time. Something that I've talked about a lot as far as being concerned with. So when I'm watching Tyler Perry, or when I'm watching this movie Straw, I should say, everything just seems like it's designed to fit the stereotype of white supremacy. White people are oppressing us. White people are the devil. White people hate black people. White people are the singular reason why black people can't get ahead. White people are to blame for everything. That's what I got from it. And then the next one was, yeah, the man, the black man, he's not holding down the black woman. The black woman has to behave like a superhero out here. And then when she finally breaks, it's rationalized because she has so much against her. She's not held to the same standard of if that was a black man playing in that movie. Like, bro, you got to do better. You got to get it together. You got a kid. You got to make sure you're moving in a more responsible way, being able to protect and provide that child. But when it's a black woman, it seems like it's totally different. And Taraji, we know the energy that she's on when she was hosting the BET Awards last year. Like, she is Mrs. Trump is coming to enslave us with Project 2025. He's about to put us in chains and shackles. We know the energy that she's on. So perhaps in a lot of ways, she was the perfect person to play this part. First and foremost, want to give a huge shout out to everybody that continues to tap in with us, like and subscribe and join our community. If you haven't already, please make sure that you do. We look forward to engaging in some dope combo with you that can help us all elevate. So like, subscribe, and maybe even share the video if you're feeling real generous. On that note, we'll let you get back to the video. See you soon. Ew. So she plays the role of a mother, and I'm going to give some stuff away. It is what it is. If you think that is going to impact you watching it, your enjoyment watching it, you can exit left, I guess. But, you know, for those, hey, look at it like a research project, man. You can hear what I'm saying and then still do your deep dive. But Taraji's playing this single mom who ends up getting into a situation. And she also, it comes out later that she's struggling with some other mental health issues. And she's just completely broken based on the situations and the hand that she's been dealt by society. Like I said, if it's a black man or any other man, I don't think that they would be getting the same amount of grace. Not to say that she shouldn't be getting it, but I don't know. That's not the point. The point is that they use Taraji's character and they use this storyline to highlight white people bad, black people, we just need to stick together and do better. Or I don't even know if it's, no, let me take that back. It's not we need to do better. It's they need to do better so that way we can have a better life because they're holding us back. The first white person that you see, it's like she gets into it with a cop. The cop is saying stuff that you couldn't even imagine a cop saying to somebody in a realistic situation. Like, it was just so over the top. It's like, yo, you over dramatize this part. And clearly you're trying to show particular hatred that all white people have or white men have when it comes to black women. Even when Taraji's at her job, it's like the mean old dark black guy. That's the person that's the asshole to her. And what's so funny about it is it reminded me of, you know how you watch Disney movies now? So for y'all that may not watch Disney movies, I'm a Disney fan. I think when you go back and look at a lot of the Disney movies, there's a lot of game there to be learned. And there's a lot that they let in without letting everybody know. Like, for example, Peter Pan, think positive thoughts, power of affirmation, think positive thoughts, you elevate, right? You're able to fly. Neither here nor there. Y'all can check out some of the other videos, all right? But the point is, when you turn on a Disney movie, I'll give you an example. I think Beauty and the Beast was one, but definitely was Lion King. I should have put it up, but there's writing that comes across the screen that pretty much says, we apologize for depicting certain characters in this that are darker, that represent more evil roles, more evil characters. Like we made the darker people, and we realized that this could be insensitive and feed into stereotypes. They did it in Aladdin too, actually. Aladdin is one of my favorites. And that's exactly what Tyler Perry was doing in this. So it's just another example, in my opinion, of the things that we complain about we end up trying to solve these problems with the equal or at least opposite. We try to make it equal or even and some, but the opposite, or just we try to aim the things that we hated happening to us just back towards the other direction or towards somebody. And we think that the problem's going to actually be solved like that. It's like DEI, like, okay, we shouldn't be using race to determine what people should get positions. We should just be using merit. But then it's like, okay, well, to make up for whatever happened in the past, and we're going to reverse this racism and now use it to benefit black people, to benefit it never actually solves the problem, whatever your opinion is on it. So, and it's clear it doesn't solve the problem when it comes to DEI, because black people are pretty much last on the list when it comes to who benefits from it. But that's neither here nor there. All right. So let me, and I wrote down some notes, so I'm not just going off on these tangents. Y'all know how I can get, or maybe a lot of y'all don't, but yeah, it can get like that. But as I'm watching this, and I'm seeing the stereotypes play out. And I even wrote right here that this is with 40 minutes. I'm only 40 minutes in, and I'm like, this is lazy writing. He's just playing on every stereotype and portraying it. This is exactly what he's pushing. So with the Disney movie, what I was trying to make the point of is that here we hate it on one end where dark people are depicted in a particular way that may be stereotypical, but then we do that exact thing. Tyler Perry does the exact same thing when it comes to this mean dark guy who ends up being the person that Taraji does something to, without giving so much away. And then it's like, we don't feel bad. It's almost set up in a way, not almost set up in a way. It's set up in a way where it's like this person was so mean to her that now she's justified in doing something outrageous, killing the person. She killed him. I didn't want to give it away, but it is what it is. Now she's justified in killing this particular person. And I was getting ready to say, maybe I should say something before, like, hey, I'm getting ready to speak on something. It is what it is. All right. So now she's justified in killing this particular person, and we don't feel bad. And we're still rooting for her throughout the movie just because he was mean to her. The same person that gave her a job, right? The same person that if that job was so bad and if he was such a terrible manager or terrible owner, whatever position he was playing or position he was in, it didn't seem like she can go out and get another job. So clearly, he's hiring her during a time where other people wouldn't hire her because she seems to be in a position that most people would say, why are you even working there? Go get another job. Why would you work for this asshole? So I'm just kind of processing it on my own. Maybe you guys will process it a little bit differently, but let's continue. All right, so just a reminder, this was the #1 movie on Netflix, and I want to remind y'all of that because this is the influence that a lot of these creators have, that a lot of these producers, these writers, these filmmakers, these artists in various categories, this is a lot of the influence that they can have, and probably music and movies are the most impactful, or TV shows, I would say, is in there. When this amount of people are watching this, or when you would think it's the #1 movie, so obviously a lot of people are watching it, it's shifting the mindset and perspective of people. And that's what it's designed to do, in my opinion. It's designed to shift the mindset and perspective of people. And I can imagine that there's going to be some people that hate it, get pissed off about it. This is where a lot of that black fatigue starts to set in, where it's like, yo, we tired of y'all complaining, bro. Like, we get it. It was hard. Like, cool. Like, and now it gets to the point where they don't even want to hear it out because you done used every excuse. How long you going to hang on to this? You're getting benefits when it comes to DEI. Things are still not clicking for you. What's the problem? You're still blaming us. Now we got to walk around feeling like we're bad people and you're just the victim. And people are getting tired of it. And I'm getting tired of it because it doesn't produce the results that a lot of us say that we're looking to produce. And in my opinion, the only thing that is going to produce those results is us. And that's looking internally. All right. When we focus on external factors to solve internal problems, then we're always going to be dependent on those external factors, external people outside of the control that we do have. Control the controllables. Let's focus on the things that are within our hands. So that's just my opinion on it. All right. So we continue to go through the movie. And you'll see different scenes in the movie where it's almost trying to get you to think a particular way. Well, they'll show a bunch of black women at the laundromat in the beauty salon or on the bus feeling sympathetic for Taraji, right? You'll see the character. Dang, how am I forgetting? What's Iman's ex name? What's Iman's ex? Hold on, how am I forgetting? Hold up, y'all gonna get mad at me. Iman's. Dang. See, I'm not. I was never a Iman Shumpert. Tiana Taylor. I ain't even have to look it up. Yeah. So Tiana Taylor's playing the strong black woman cop, but is sympathetic and soft and empathetic when it comes to this lady that just killed somebody. And why is she sympathetic? Because she killed a couple black guys. She didn't kill anybody that, she didn't, it's not like she killed another woman. It's not like she killed a white man. She killed another Negro. You know what I'm saying? That's how we looking at it. So when it comes to Tiana and the role that she's playing, she plays the strong black woman that has that sisterhood, black woman can do no bad bond that we see all the time in society. But this just may be my opinion. I may be wrong. Feel free to push back and tell me if you observe something differently. This is all based on perspective. All right. My perspective is based on the lens that I see out of, based on my experiences, the things that I may believe, based on things that I've read, observed, and things of that nature. Yours may be totally different, which is cool. I'm just expressing mine. So let's move on. But one of the biggest things, and it was a powerful scene in the movie where I forget the lady's name. Let me actually bring up the cast. Let me bring up the cast. Straw, Tyler, Perry cast. I should have had this up. That's my apologies. So Sherry Shepherd. I wanted to make sure that I'm naming people right. And shout out to Sinbad. Sinbad played in the movie as well. But Sherry Shepherd, she's playing the role of the bank manager. Now, the bank manager, she's talking about she would never be in a position. Let me slow it down a little bit. This is a powerful scene. They're going back and forth, and she's talking about Sherry saying how I would never be in this position if I didn't have a husband like the husband that I have who's so supportive of me. And Taraji says something like, oh, well, you don't know who men are until after you have a kid with them. And I'm just like, yo, here we go. Just passing along all type of accountability. Let's just be real. When you have a kid with somebody, you know exactly who that man is. You know exactly who that man is, unless you're just meeting people in a one night stand and just allowing them to splash in you without using protection. And that's on you and the guy. That's on you. So when it comes to her saying sometimes you don't know somebody until you have a kid with them, like knock it off. Accept some accountability. Most cases, that man is the same person that they were before you had a baby with them. Just like for the fellas, these women are the same women that before we had babies with them. So both sides need to take a certain level of accountability. The problem is that I would say is that women are the ones that never get held accountable or hold themselves accountable. It's always a blame game. Now she's sitting around here. She can't take care of her child. She can't protect her child, can't provide for her child. And rather than her just getting a husband, getting somebody, isn't the new word that y'all like, partner? When you can't do something on your own, what should you do? Your partner, right? So your baby's father was good enough to have a kid with, but whatever else happened after that, I guess he wasn't good enough to continue a relationship with. Maybe you were unhappy. Okay, cool. Well, maybe you should have been or did a little bit more due diligence beforehand, but I don't want to lose y'all. Let me get back to the point. The point that I'm trying to make is that we're better together, that we need each other. That even though you hear, and I got to be honest, I don't hear men running around saying, I don't need no woman. I hear women running around saying, I don't need no man. That's the culture. That's what's pushed. That's why I'm so annoyed with Tyler Perry for pushing this particular narrative and not using this as an opportunity to highlight something that, in my opinion, would help a lot of Black people and a lot of people overall. But specifically when it comes to Black families, because Black families are probably in the worst condition, perhaps when you look throughout the world. Black Americans, our families, relatively speaking, are in the worst position, maybe compared to the rest of the country and the demographics of people that are in that country. So rather than us just focus on the fact that, hey, maybe all these things wouldn't happen if Taraji found a man, if Taraji was able to pick better, if Taraji was more responsible with who she had a kid with. That's not highlighted. Instead, it's the other stereotypes. It's all the things that place blame on everyone else except Taraji. So that just is what it is. But I'm glad that Sherry Shepard did have that line in there, because for the ones that are excited about things like that, where it's like, let's celebrate some more Black families, let's push that narrative, let's push that culture, so then we can grow up and that be a more attainable goal, because it's something that we're seeing, it's something that we're focusing on. We didn't grow up like that. I had two parents that were together, but the culture and society, that was not pushed. It was not pushed. Family, 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 kids, kids. We didn't learn how to communicate with significant others. In a lot of ways, we were raised to be independent from each other, independent of each other, not interdependent. All right, not interdependent. We were raised to be independent. You, we, shout out to Unc. My Unc said the other day that we were raised like two batteries. They don't do anything when you put a positive charge with a positive charge or a negative charge with a negative charge. Opposites attract. You need the positive charge with the negative charge. In a lot of ways, and this is if we're lucky. Well, women, young women are being raised to, let's say, be men and have more masculine qualities. And men, if we're lucky, are raised to have those masculine qualities. But now we got two positives trying to click and nothing gets charged. There's no compounding love. There's no compounding success that comes with the union of two people, because they're trying to play the same role. So I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts that were going through my head. Let me see if I missed anything else that I wanted to say. But yeah, I wrote down, just looking at the notes, we need to encourage strong relationships. Why aren't we taught how to be in relationships? Because it would prevent everything from happening in this movie. When I looked at this movie, and I keep looking over here at the screen because that's where my TV is. But when I looked at that movie, I'm realizing like everything that she went through was preventable. Everything that she went through was preventable if she had a solid guy by her side. That's how I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. Things could still happen, but that was my initial takeaway. Why doesn't Tyler Perry use his influence to create movies that teach us how to have healthy marriages and relationships? Maybe he has some movies that do, but I think the majority of it is focusing on just how can I trigger the emotions of a group of people? How can I appease women? And how can I push this victimhood narrative as best as I can? And I really believe that Tyler Perry, he probably really feels that he's doing some type of playing his role in this freedom fight. Maybe he is, but I just think we got to take a step back, and rather than just embracing the low hanging fruit of victimhood, I think we need to actually figure out how to develop some muscles to actually start climbing that tree, and instead of just relying on the low hanging fruit that comes with the victimhood Olympics and us blaming white people for our problems. So, do I have anything? Do I have anything? Instead, he's playing on the trauma. Okay. I said it, he's playing on the trauma of Black people and triggering emotions. Let me repeat. This is the number one, and I used effing movie on Netflix. All right. This is the number one movie on Netflix. So it was. But yeah, what are your thoughts? You let me know what you think. You let me know what type of impact this movie will have on the culture, will have on your own personal life. Should I just sit back and just watch it for what it is? It's entertainment purposes. Am I overreacting by always looking into it more than what it may be? Perhaps I may be, but I'm just sharing my thoughts. So please feel free to share your thoughts. I encourage it. I welcome it. Strong dialogue. That's the best way for us to grow, hear other people's perspectives that they get from their unique experiences, us bringing them all together, throwing them on the table, and figuring out how we can move forward and become successful in the best ways. So, on that note, y'all know what it is, what we come to do, elevate on purpose. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. And once again, leave a comment. Leave a comment, let us know how you're feeling. And if you're feeling very generous, which I would greatly appreciate it, click that share button, copy the link, send it to your group chat, and let's get everybody involved. And on that note, I shall see y'all soon. Ew.